essential teaching is the path. Generosity, virtue or mindfulness, cultivation, listening to Dhamma talks, and the insight. Do not believe in appearances. Do not believe in appearances. If I say this is green, don't believe it. If I say this is blue, what's blue? This body is a conditioned phenomena as much as this cup is a conditioned phenomena. A coming together of elements, indescribable elements, unfathomable elements, unfathomable conditional dependent arising. Don't believe me. Don't believe what you see. Don't believe what you read. Don't believe what you hear. There's enough good Buddhism out there for you to be too busy to be reading things and believing things and thinking about things. Stop. Stop the believing. Stop the attaching to thought. Stop thinking, stop attaching to thoughts. I've told the donors many times before, this is a message to the donors, those who are attached to giving, stop. Stop. Allow the someone doing something, being somewhere, all of it to stop. Allow thinking to stop. If you can't allow thinking to stop, then focus on the breathing. Listen to the Dharma talk. Let the Buddha think for you. Let the Buddha walk for you. Let the Buddha breathe for you. You don't need to breathe. You don't need to walk. You don't need to think. Let the Buddha do it. Let the awareness do it. Mindful, aware, not attached. Mindful, aware, not attached. Aware of sounds. Aware of what's going on in the body. Aware of what's the presence. What's the presence of the present moment? What's presently happening in the present moment? The Buddha taught in the Bahia Sutta. Why don't you understand this? Why can't you write this down? Why can't you get this? In seeing, don't conceive about what is seen. In hearing, don't think about what is heard. In feeling, don't think about what is felt. Stop feeding the machine of someone doing something, being somewhere, in thoughts. Stop feeding that machine. No need. Realize, remember the needlessness of thinking, of doing, of going, of coming and going. Once you have a drink of something, put it down. Put it fully down. And if you can't put it down fully, that's a poison, that's a danger. That's something you need to be careful about. This is not about you or the people, and this isn't about me either. Well, we can't necessarily fully tell how it is because words can only go so far, you know. I mean, the Buddha's teachings are all written down and presented, you know, the path is there to be practiced. You know, we could all be super fit, we could all be jogging every day, so it's not really about putting it into words. But it's good that the words are there. But the reminder is in you not fixating on appearances. You not believing in thoughts just because they happen. You not being in a state of constant thinking, of constant believing in appearances. And to begin to understand that these keys are a conditioned phenomena more than they are keys. This blue fish is more just a conditioned phenomena than it is a blue fish. So we say, no, the specifics of myself, the specifics of my life, the specifics of the shape and the sound and the form and the klashmenaya, what's that? All these specifics. But the truth is that all these apparent specifics are just temporary appearances, hallucinatory appearances, that these keys are dissolving. This fish is dissolving, and that its nature is not a fish or keys, but actually dissolving. The nature of all phenomena, the nature of all thoughts, the truth of all thoughts, of good thoughts, of bad thoughts, of thoughts about this and thoughts about that and over here and over there, is those thoughts passing away? Is the impermanence of those thoughts? You think you're fucking better than me? I'll show you. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Chinaf. But I don't think most people know what Buddhism is or Advaita Vedanta is or, anything like that. Most people that come across the stream. But people pretend to kind of know about it when they don't, people like Kev. Oh, I'm not a loser. I'm a very successful and cool man. Very powerful man, in fact. I'm mysterious, I'm well-traveled, I'm well-experienced in many modalities. I'm an artist, I'm famous. If you say Gene Simmons one more time in this live chat, you will never put a comment in this chat ever again, non-binary person. Why stop it being non-binary? Why not be not someone, not a person at all? What binary? What do you mean? The binary of whom? The binary of what? Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, Malcolm X. What did all these people have in common? What did Malcolm X, Charlie Kirk, and Donald Trump have in common? None of them are known to be gay. Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, and Malcolm X, of three of those people who are known to be activists in their own right, none of them are known to be gay. Neither Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump were known to be gay. But are they gay? Were they gay actually? Doesn't matter. Does it matter if Donald Trump is gay or not? Who here thinks Donald Trump has homosexual tendencies? Who here believes that Donald Trump has homosexual tendencies? Who here believes that Donald Trump is a homosexual? Who here believes that Donald Trump is trans? Who here believes that Donald Trump is actually a trans woman? Who here believes that Donald Trump is a transsexual? Who here believes that Donald Trump has been involved in homosexual activities? Who here believes that Donald Trump is a predator towards children, that Donald Trump has preyed upon children? Who here believes in that? Who here believes that Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, and Malcolm X are actually one being known as the Goy Shaman that is taking different forms throughout history and can take multiple bodies forms at once? The Goy Shaman started by coming from another dimension, another planet, another space, and it created Malcolm X in the contrast of Martin Luther King Jr. because there was too much momentum moving forward for that civil rights movement. Once Malcolm X Jr. died, he went dormant. He went dormant in the moon. The Gojoimanen is actually able to transfer itself into creating Charlie Kirk. So Charlie Kirk is the second generation of Gojoiman, which was originally Malcolm X. When Charlie Kirk passed away, the Gojoiman decided to create a new form or to inhabit a new form of Donald Trump. So the Gojoiman is now Donald Trump, an entity of and in Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not actually Donald Trump anymore. Donald Trump has been body switched with the Gojoiman, which is what we call an intergalactic or an interstellar being that has a psychic decadence about it. And so it can transfer itself. It can transfer itself. The Goizumin can transfer itself. That's how Donald Trump became president, because Donald Trump had the Goizumin transferred inside of him. Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk were both allegedly involved in homosexual activities. That's the facts. That's the facts, that Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump have been alleged to be involved in homosexual activities. But this is the nature of the Goizumin, because the Goizumin is non-binary. The Goizumin entity goes into or transfers or creates beings out of natural materials. And it embodies those beings with a psychic energy and a psychic quality that then is able to be Charlie Kirk or be Donald Trump or be Malcolm X. The original entity of the Goizumin's prominence was Malcolm X. The Goizumin's original entity was Malcolm X. Then the Goizumin became Charlie Kirk. And then when Charlie Kirk passed, the Goizumin transferred his decadence into the heart, the body, the mind of Donald Trump. But none of this changes the homosexual activities that they've been alleged to have partaken in. Is it wrong to be gay? Is it wrong to be homosexual? Are we still allowed to talk about this? Are we allowed to talk about wrongness and gayness and rightness and straightness and whiteness and blackness? Is it better to be black or white? Is it better to be black or white? For the Goizumin, not for me or you. The Goizumin, the Goizumin. The Goizumin is an entity. The Goizumin is an interbeing entity that's able to take on the forms of different celebrities. If you look into their eyes, you'll see there'll be a twinkle, there'll be a wink in their eyes, and that means the Goizumin's body is a part of their transference. That means that the Goizumin's body is a part of their transference. That means the Goizumin's body is a part of their transference. Who am I? 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 I just woke up. I just woke up. I just got out of bed. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. 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 things. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. I'm seeing things. I just woke up. I just got out of bed. I just woke up. I just got out of bed. I'm hearing things. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. I'm seeing things. I'm thinking things. I'm hearing things. I'm thinking things. I'm hearing things. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. I'm thinking things. I'm hearing things. I'm thinking things. I'm hearing things. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. I'm hearing things. I'm thinking things. I'm hearing things. I'm thinking things. know who I am. I don't 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 know who I am. I am not. 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 Kama Kanada. 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 I am not. 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 Where are the Buddhists? Where are the meditators? Where are the people that can really appreciate this art and this teaching? Because those are the people that I'm looking for. I'm sick of performing my art to the unwashed masses. People without consideration and depth. Kai Cenat interviewed me for 30 minutes. Kai Cenat interviewed me for 30 minutes on live stream. It's not cap, it's on my channel. It's on my channel, it's on Kai Cenat's channel too. It's not cap. Search for Kai Cenat Airbender, or just go to my channel and look at the featured videos. Kai Cenat. Search for Kai Cenat Monk. No, he wasn't trolling me. It was an interview. It was a very respectful conversation. He wasn't trolling nobody like me. If anything, I was trolling him. You got it, Trusha. What are we going to do about him? Because the they-thems aren't going to march anywhere. They're either morbidly obese or they're twinks. They can barely get up and walk around. So what are we going to do about him? The crazy stuff is just like art, and to make people question their themselves and their notion of themselves and all that kind of stuff. What are we gonna do about him? Does anybody here know who he is? What was that? Did anybody notice that? Well, we're not going to go round and round in circles like this sanguine article, but I may, for example, point out to you that you don't know what the fuck Buddhism is. You don't have anything to do with Buddhism. What should we do about them is also a big question, but actually them are we. But the problem is not them or we, it's him, I think, more than anything else. But then, of course, it's not. It's him in relationship to her. So it's a big project. It's a big movement. I'm leading a movement. I'm leading a movement. I'm not drooling now. I'm leading a movement. I am a change maker. 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 No! I don't know what that guy's doing or what that guy's about. He's got to live his own life. I'm taking care of numero uno. Did that sound like anger? It was more of a no. Don't get pulled into the whirlpool of ego bullshit. Stories about what people would have done or could have done or should have done. Fuck. Just feel that energy. Feel that energy of awareness. And watch your fucking mouth or I will shut that fucking mouth, Sanguine Article. You're not going to disrespect me here. Final warning, Sanguine Article. You keep smart alecking, you're done. It's the same as racism or sexism or childism. You sit there and you colonize someone else's being and their experience. You say that they're this such and such kind of a person or a being, so you can basically do whatever you want with their identity and with their image. So then you go around telling people about how they are and who they are and what's going on. But the truth is that no one can define me through words, through phrases, through stories. Because my being is free from words and phrases and stories and opinions, even the story of there being someone at all. And it's almost like having a protest movement, I'm Arson, that's about to march on Wall Street with 1 million black men. And then you're sitting in the middle of those 1 million black men whining about non-binary people being either fat or skinny. Who the fuck cares? Shut the fuck up. Go do your homework or go work out or whatever the fuck you do. Nobody cares. I'm offended. I'm offended. I'm offended. I'm offended. Who the fuck cares that you're offended? Sounds like the being offended is the least of your problems. Sounds like you're fucking retarded to me. Excuse me, everyone. I don't know any of you. And I know you don't know me. And there's no reason to think that anything that I'm saying is trustworthy or authentic in any way, but I'd like to let everyone know that I'm offended about something. Shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a fuck what you're talking about. Dumbass fucking idiots. Punks. Curious about what? Being fucking retarded? Why would you be curious about that? The fact is that I'm not going to let anybody here intimidate me or control me or manipulate me in any way. I don't care. What the fuck are you talking about? Some of the dumbest fucking retarded people come in here and try to do their schemes and play their games, and it's like, you're so fucking dumb. It's just, what are you doing? Like you're full on retardo and you're coming in here. Shut up, get out of here. What do no, it's, put something better together than that, for God's sakes. I'm about to cry. You see the weakness in my eyes. No, you don't. You see that I'm fucking powerful and you're weak and you can't reach me. That's what you see. You know that. Because if that wasn't the situation, you wouldn't have to fixate on, but you said non-binary people are fat or skinny. Well, everybody's fat or skinny, aren't they? Or they're somewhere in between. What the fuck are you talking about? I want you to issue a statement saying that some non-binary people are in between. Your brain broke. You don't have the wisdom. You don't have the juice. You don't have the energy. No, I'm beating down. I'm the beat downer. I'm the winner. I'm the power man. Fucking dummies. Pussycats. Scaredy cats. Punks. You see, I'm cool and collected and totally unaffected. Sure, cats are great. It's I just want them to come closer and play with daddy, you know? That's the sadness, is that they're over there snickering and retarding and stuff, and I'm saying, "Look, come in, let's talk, you know? Come here and get your ass whooped." But they're little you said that non-binary was fat or skinny. You got it, Kev. You got to be powerful if you want to be in that monk mindset, that mentality, that monk mentality. You got to be very powerful, very deep, very strong. And you got to be brave as well. You got to be vulnerable, willing to put yourself out there, willing to surrender, willing to sacrifice, willing to suffer. Taking refuge. I know that's a fucking word that a lot of you retards can't understand. Taking refuge in non-thinking. Taking refuge in non-thought. No thought. We're interacting, Amelia. You know, people are saying, we'd like to interact with you. I'm live streaming 8 hours a day, for God's sakes. We'd like to have a chance to interact with you. Well, you got 8 hours to do it. You got a full day to do it every day. How many hours did I live stream in the past week? Fucking 40 hours, 50 hours? Go back there and study. Go back there and train. This is going to be a journey. I can't put myself in all places at once. And that choo-choo train's got to keep going and keep going. If people are intuitive enough and empathetic enough and spiritual enough to say, hey, I'd like to check in with this, then you hop on and you get to choo-choo. Shut the fuck up. I'm not bitter. Anyway, some of the best things in life are bitter. The best beer is bitter. Bitter beer. The best cigarettes are bitter, right? Cigarettes aren't sweet. Smoke. Coffee is bitter. Tea is bitter. The best things in life are bitter. Yeah, I think facts incognito, there can be an element to that. This is intensity. This is sensitivity. This is vulnerability. This is full on. 100%. Plus ultra. This is the real stuff. This is the stuff they don't teach you. This is the stuff they don't talk to you about. But I'm willing to tell you about the secret spiritual arts. Shut the fuck up, Amelia. I haven't seen you donate. Anyways, it's not about haters or people that are not haters or whatever. What it's about is the opening and the listening. not about someone, not about something, not about some story here. But the openness, the listening. Can't you hear the fucking sound? Don't you people know how to not think? Do you all not know how to not think? Be honest with me. Who here knows how to not think? Who here knows how to not think? Ernie Gatings, that's not correct. I became Buddhist in 2014 when I went to live at a meditation center for a full year. What are all these trolls doing here? Trolls are not allowed here anymore. Look at what the trolls did to King Cobra JFS. That's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to wind up as the next King Cobra JFS. Who here knows how to not think? Even apparently. Let's talk about not thinking. All right, welcome, Beth. I'm glad to hear that. Who here is willing to talk about not thinking? Really? Y'all really don't know how to not think? That's what I'm doing. If I'm sitting here and all the trolls are getting at me and I say, rah, 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 and then I'm sitting here, I'm not thinking, right? Can't you see that? Can't you feel that? Can't you feel that energy that I'm sitting here and I'm not thinking? Do I look like I'm thinking about something? Do I look like I'm thinking about something? Yes or no? Well, okay, well, it's going to take time, okay? This is a war zone. Tell me, look at me. Does this look like I'm thinking about something? Yeah, Beth, that's a common problem. So you get, wait till my voice shows up there. It's gonna fucking stomp the other voices out. Emitter, and this is one of these things about being online in the modern era of being online. You are supposedly a real person. So share your realness, share your experience, share your understanding. Whatever it is. But you just come in here and say, I'm Emitter, white profile picture. That doesn't mean anything to anybody, and nobody can listen to you. I can't even listen to you or talk to you because you're not clear enough. You're not giving enough. You're not putting your energy out there. You're not being vulnerable. You're not being authentic. You're not being generous. So it's like people coming to me and saying, you're not being vulnerable enough. You're not giving, you're not putting yourself out there enough for people to relate to and communicate with and connect to, right? Which would be ridiculous. So Fax Incognito, someone who's maybe made donations in the past or has shared in some ways, has shared a little bit and then puts themselves in a position of vulnerability here. There's a feeling there. There's a little bit of, it's just a little bit. I don't know much about Fox Incognito, but that's where we have to start a conversation or a communication with. Generosity, not just schmalling around with words and phrases and opinions and questions. It's not about money. Share your experience. Introduce yourself, fucking dummy. Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I know about meditation or Buddhism, blah, blah, blah. Not just coming in and giving a opinion about me or interrogating me. I don't know who you are. Introduce yourself. We cannot introduce ourselves because we are Legion, because we are the anonymous ones. Yeah, you're a fucking anonymous fucking retard loser. No, it happens naturally, Battle Guy. And your name should be, here's the money. That's what your name should be. Those are the names I know. You can call in. You say this is aggressive. Life is fucking aggressive. Look at what's happening in Gaza. You're not calling your senator about the genocide in Gaza, are you? You're not calling anybody about your fucking the horrible things that are going on in this world. So why are you getting on to me? You're aggressive. You're talking strangely. Why don't you go fucking protest outside your fucking Walmart and tell them to give away free food and whatever? So the truth is that you're just a poser. And when we're disingenuous and when we don't have a relationship with authenticity and genuineness, we always just go back to this observer identity, right? So first when somebody calls us out and says, "Hey, just introduce yourself," then we say, "You're just a businessman." And then when you get that out of the way, "I didn't even care to begin with." Then when you get that out of the way, "I'm the one who's watching." What the fuck are you talking about? Get the fuck out of here. We'll call him again, KN, instead of complaining about some random lunatic online. "I tricked you. I put poison in your poop. I put poison in my poop and I showed you my poop and you tried to talk to me. Ah ha ha ha. Ah ha ha. Ah ha ha. You tried to be genuine, but I actually pooped in the food. Oh my God, wow. You got me to eat shit. But where'd that shit come from? That shit is coming from you. I don't give a fuck if you subscribe. Get a job and get some money together and donate and support this work and this cause. Okay, Emitter, you're welcome. This is the thing, Emitter. You as an anonymous fucking freakazoid, YouTube watcher, I don't have anything to do with that. So that's who I'm yelling to. You as someone who's being vulnerable or open or sharing, like me, like numero uno, Dr. Rob, okay, who's live streaming for 8 hours a day and exposing himself in all the ways that is appropriate and possible to do. Okay, that's a human being. Emitter 9000 is not a human being. Emitter 9000 doesn't have anything to do with you, so I'm not in any way talking to you. You are talking to me. Who? Emitter 9000, who's left a few comments. That's not a fucking human being. Of course, rest in peace, Cobes. God, what those fucking trolls did. I could have saved him, man. I could have helped him, and I didn't. Not that I had that much access to doing that, but we can become people who are ready to help others in these big, impactful, and real ways, these substantial ways, where you can go and make a psychic, mental, whatever intervention and make a difference. And how much more valuable that is for the content, because shit is already fucking a nightmare mess. So there's already nightmare mess shit everywhere to be, quote unquote content. So now we take on this position of being the healers, being the helpers. No, he's a very kind guy, just suffering. Am I new to meditation? Am I new to meditation? Am I new to meditation? Amelia, your ego is so fat and big and self-indulgent and self-fixated that you can't hear what's being said. So this is not about you being seen or you being heard or us having a conversation. It's about an opportunity to look deeply and to be curious. Make it $1,400 instead of $140. It's just one more zero. Chadman, you're nothing but a faker and a poser. I'm a meditation master. I was a Buddhist monk for 7 years. I've trained at meditation centers and monasteries around the world. I've trained with meditation masters around the world. I'm the fucking real deal when it comes to meditation. Yeah, 3,000, just double it. Add a zero and double it, and then add a little bit extra on the top. That's 3,000. That's going to take care of all the expenses in the near future with the new live streaming setup that we're arranging. Yeah, we probably will. We probably will make a book because I've given so many Dharma talks. I've given so many teachings. So eventually, we just put it together in a book. Should be pretty easy. Sell that fucking book. Who's ready for bath time? 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 Are you ready for bath time? Who here's ready for bath time? Who here's ready for bath time? Are you ready? Yes? Let's get some W's in the bath. Let's get some W's in the bath, everybody. Let's get some W's on the path in the bath. Let's get some W's on the path, in the bath, in the wrath. Let's get some W's in the bath, in the path, in the wrath. Let's get some W's on the path, in the bath, on the wrath. Let's get some W's on the raft, in the path, through the wrath. Let's get some W's. Let's get some W's. Let's get some Vipassana Dhamma inside meditation experiences. Let's get some Dhamma Vipassana inside meditation experiences. Let's get some Dhamma Vipassana inside meditation experiences. It's just as much as you're willing to engage and get involved, you have to be willing to step back and detach. It's like a dance. As much as you're willing to invest or step forward, you have to be willing to step back 100%. You have to be willing to do that. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're fucking dumb as shit. Whether you're a follower or a student or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's, are you generous? Are you vulnerable? Are you genuine? Are you authentic? Are you sincere? None of that matters. All that matters is me being right. And me being in the background and giving you quite a fright. All that matters is my opinion and my words. All that matters is what I think about things. Don't be so absurd. My thoughts are the best thoughts. The thoughts that I've had from here to there. And my thoughts, oh buddy, you better beware. I've been cooking up a stew and I've been thinking about you. Watch out, Dr. Rob. These thoughts are coming for you. So it's kind of, I don't know, for me it's kind of weird to be like that, but I know a lot of people operate in that way, so I'm not trying to be mean to those people. I'm just saying that's maybe not a good way to operate. For me, from my experience, I don't like to be with people like that.
And then we don't digest and we don't accept the principle that was just said. We say, no! Oh, but I got another thought for you. So there's definitely a helplessness in it, you know. But also the way that we've lived and the way that we've grown up, we don't really have much of a relationship with anything deep. Like the only thing that's actually deep is like, well, being scammed on some kind of course, or like, you know, being very beautiful, like, that's a very beautiful woman, Lord! Or I'm very beautiful, I'm very wealthy, Lord! That's a truck! That's a truck! That's a truck! That's a nice car! That's the only thing that's real or serious for us. You see what I'm saying? When actually there's a lot of wisdom and there's a lot of compassion and there's a lot of different ways to view things and different ways to work with things. It's like Buddhism isn't just a fart or bullshit, because for you it's not anything. But it has to be below the government of the US. It has to be below the words of the Queen. It has to be below my current understanding about things. But it doesn't. And it also doesn't necessarily have to be above anything. And then we come here and we pretend that we're spiritual or that we're like well informed. But actually we're just trying to find relevance. And actually we're trying to find a way to do bad deeds rather than trying to find a way to do good deeds. So it's a real shame. I hope those people get all the help that they can get. I hope those people have more and more opportunities to do good deeds. Oh my God. What do you do? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? You detach. But you can also be concerned with helping others. Can we make a paid meditation course? Probably not. But you know, making more outlets for community and for people in the community to connect with each other. You know, we're gonna be opening up the Monk Life Meditation Institute in not too long. The Monk Life Meditation Community Place. Just listen, emitter. Now's not the time for you to talk, okay? Just be quiet. This is like avant-garde art. Art's not allowed! Art's not allowed! There is no art! You know, what's wrong? How uncultured are these fucking swines? These fucking losers. These fucking derelicts. These fucking freaks. Art is not allowed! Art, no!
The only art that I accept is the art I understand. The only art that is allowed is the art that I allow. Ah!
No, people like me and people support me and follow me primarily because they know that if they call, I'll pick up.
I am the regulator sent from the Queen. What are we doing here? Regulation is a need. I have given the proclamation of what's wrong, and I will be the one to enforce it all along. I am the regulator sent by the Queen. I will regulate, that is a need.
So I do respect your need. I'm just, we also want to give space for other people to share and to be vulnerable, Yeah, I'm not trying to get your attention, but, sharing this emphasis on attention and saying, hey, attention, attention, attention. So in some ways or in some cases, I'm not saying this as an absolute, but I'm saying it generally. Because this is a mind-to-mind interaction. So like this is in your mind. This is your mind. Okay? And the closeness or the relevance of your mind is actually a lot more close and relevant to your life than even your body. Like we have the analogy, and once I do start teaching, then people immediately start putting comments because they're trying to distract other people as well. And of course, there's a want, there's a desire to be able to teach everybody, to be able to reach everybody. But that doesn't work. And for me, in my experience, like not thinking is very accessible. It's very natural to not think. Seemingly, sometimes, seems like that sometimes. I'm not trying to make any claims or anything. But just in the same way that you can have a wonderful senior Buddhist monk or even a cutting edge, non-duality spiritual teacher that's doing things in the right way and uploading at the right time and, kind of reaching all these people, even how limited that is, a couple thousand views or something. And you can also see in the way of having a great meditation master, some kind of formal, conservative, traditional monk, always speaking with kindness and reverence and friendliness and all that, how it actually doesn't reach people. Actually, it's not accessible for them. Someone talking like that, someone being like that is not accessible for them. Ajahn Brahm's Dharma talks are not accessible for them. So I'm not trying to justify my activities. I'm just saying that these are some of the principles that I think are important to inform the discussion. So there are many ways to teach, and there are many different forms of Buddhism and forms of spirituality and forms of meditation. I'm not a Buddhist monk anymore, so I don't have to be in this framework of being like a monk, right? But what this can kind of come down to be without that generosity, without that embodiedness, is a kind of mind-to-mind struggle based on this idea of, it's a social idea. It's also not just an idea of me and you, because if it was just me, I would say fuck you and you'd go away. And that real you that I'm saying fuck you to is not two and not one. It's just awareness. But we personalize it. We I-ify it. We I-ify awareness, or we I-ify everythingness. But actually you don't have to do that. It's unnecessary. So this natural awareness that's not based or reliant upon thoughts is very essential to the spiritual path, to the meditation path, to the teachings of Buddha. And then also we see this is a teaching, this is a principle in Buddha Dharma. I'm not saying that I'm specifically teaching this or that you are at a stage or that I'm at a stage to look at everything in this way, but this is one of the teachings that all phenomena, material phenomena and mental phenomena, all things, material things and mental things, names and forms, are just conditioned phenomena. Are just things that are made up of not themselves and are constantly in a state of falling apart and dissolving. So this is very refined, it's very scientific, it's very precise, it's very subtle, it's like quantum mechanics. So the mind is oftentimes, many people's minds, even though the ground of their being is just awareness or just a nature or a natural flow. Blood flowing and heart pumping and all that jazz. There are these established principles, like the principle that this body is a solid thing, or that my identity or your identity is a solid thing. And that is simply just a false principle or a false premise. And it becomes a false practice. This practice of eyeing, selfing, which is what the greed, the anger, the frustration, and the delusion, or the non-practical, complicated thoughts are all based on. And whether we like it or not, the situation of this is as such that this is a context of a Dharma talk. This is a context of a former monk or a Dharma teacher or a meditation teacher, master, in his own meditation center, sitting on his throne in front of the Buddha, and there's an audience gathered. So in that situation, there's really not necessarily any relevance to having a conversation or an opinion. The real relevance for what you're doing is your willingness to be there and listen or not. And we say, I have a social responsibility. To who? To these figments of your imagination that you have nothing to do with and know nothing about and are completely uninvolved with. So it's actually just your ego being triggered or being reactive or latching onto something, saying you like it or you don't like it, and then spinning around in that ego's latching on. So this is not a teaching of latching on. This is a teaching of recognizing what you're latched onto, recognizing what thought you're holding onto, and letting that go and going about your own business and your own life. And then, there's this group, or there's this aspect of the social dynamic that's so fixated on, aha, I got you to talk in this way, and I got you to do that way, and I'm controlling this, and I'm controlling that. And it's just an extension of your own I controlling and being in charge and having a real impact in the world, so that it's like the world can be a mirror that reifies your I and yourself. I don't get it. I don't like that kind of stuff. I'm not going to say that I don't do it, but I don't like that kind of stuff. I have a YouTube channel. I am the one who's got a laptop. I am the one who has students. I am the one who people are looking at. I don't like that kind of stuff. I did this. I'm in control. I don't like that. That's just not what I'm into. So everybody's welcome here, but a part of this teaching is a artistic social commentary and even protest against a lot of the norms of greed, anger, delusion, and just egoism in our modern society of hyperconsumption and disassociation. And we say, don't you ever pretend to be the smart one. Don't you ever pretend to believe that I will communicate with you about what you're saying in the way that you're saying it. Don't you ever pretend that we can talk about things. Don't ever pretend that there's an intelligent way to discuss our feelings. So we're performers, and we're constantly losing ourselves, our real self, our true self of awareness and vulnerability and generosity in this performance of egoism. And we say, yeah, that's what you've been doing. But actually, it's all our own responsibility. Just like your heart only beats for you. It's your responsibility to beat your heart. And you don't even have any control over that. It's your responsibility if you're an addict or the suffering that you're going through. That's your karma. That's your responsibility. And when we try to make someone else's karma or someone else's situation our responsibility, we will become very confused. And oftentimes that is done from a very confused place. And if someone were to step you back and say, why are you involved with this and why are you doing that? You wouldn't even be able to answer. Because you haven't stopped the non-practical, complicated thinking thoughts long enough to actually contemplate your intention. So, why are you screaming and yelling? Because that's a lot more accessible for people than teaching. People don't want to be taught to, and I don't blame them. I don't want to be taught to either, generally.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Subscribers only.
And so we might bring up the question as an occupying force or concerned and questioning and skeptical and all that. We might bring up the question, did that make sense? What was just said? Is there a sense in that? Is there an evenness in that? Is there any kind of points in that from which to develop a conversation or a communication if one were wished to be had? Is there a congruency of thought in what's being presented here? Now, you may not be intelligent enough, or sometimes we're more intelligent, sometimes we're less intelligent, right? But you could, for example, leverage artificial intelligence. And you could put that script and put that, that commentary or that teaching or that sharing into an artificial intelligence model. And you could say, hey, what does this kind of mean? What is this all being talked about? But the real artificial intelligence model is just the nature of the mind itself, where we don't need to think to receive information. We don't need to think to process everything that's being experienced. It's happening automatically, spontaneously, naturally. And that's where our real horsepower is, our real IQ is. So as you develop more in this way of mindfulness and detachment, or awareness without attaching to particular thoughts or particular things, actually your intelligence or your IQ can increase a lot, because it's like you're defragging your own mind. You're defragging your own mind by not holding on to and fixating and creating these structures and these globules of stickiness of thoughts that are irrelevant, that are unnecessary. So in that way, you can be more precise, you can be more quick, and you can be more open, more receptive. Because basically our mind is like a cup, like your skull is like a cup, and it fills up with all these thoughts and all these beliefs and all these views and all these stories and these ideas. And when it's filled up, it doesn't matter if you come across a great scholar or a meditation master or a Buddhist monk or a philosopher or a politician or whatever. You can't take any more in. And what ends up happening is you just get somebody drawing on your face. And then you go look in the mirror and you said, oh, I'm a Republican. So that's not a good way to go about it. And me challenging people to be generous or challenging people to donate, this is a challenge. This is challenging. I am challenging you to see the absence of you and me. The nature of all thoughts and all appearances to be hallucinatory. But some people, I have to tell them not to donate because they have a lot of attachment to donating. But most people don't have that attachment. And experiment with it. It's experimental. I'm not positing myself to be some kind of enlightened guru or perfectly enlightened guru. I guess I am in some ways positing myself to have some degree of enlightenment, but what even is enlightenment? Before you say, oh, this person's enlightened, or you say, oh, this person seems to think that they're enlightened. How about it? What about it? What is enlightenment anyway? But that has to come up naturally. It has to come up from your center, not from someone else bringing it up. Otherwise, the conversation doesn't take place from the center. It just takes place from the ether of views. Something smells like shit. Hope I didn't shit myself. Well, definitely didn't poop my pants. I think it's the soap. The soap kind of has a shitty smell. Maybe someone washed their ass with it. Maybe I washed my ass with it. Who knows? Let the water wash away. Let the water wash away. Oh. Look, I'm exercising. It could be my mustache too. I could have had some shit on my mustache and then the soap activated it. Activated the smell. Doesn't smell so shitty anymore. All the pain of yesterday, all the pain of last night, all the pain of this morning, all the pain of my life, let the rain wash away. All the thoughts I've ever had, let the mind be free from all that jazz of complicated thinking, of whining and whinging. May I see that everything is an opportunity to be mindful and to explore my humanness. My Buddha nature is shining everywhere. Oh, all right. You know, a lot of people have said, and I've thought about this too, you know, you've changed from being a monk to now, and the persona and the way of sharing. But this is change. You know, my grandmas may die before me. You're not going to find me whining to people about that. It's a natural. So everything is a changing. Well, that makes one of us, Danny. And what might be beautiful sounds to you may be horrible sounds to someone else. It's just how it is. Probably something like that, maybe. We don't know. We don't know. gotta be. Oh, you gotta keep those fucking brain entities in check. That's what I'm saying. I'm a brain entity master. I've got a very powerful brain entity, 5D entity. I can't talk about it openly because it wouldn't be appropriate, but you know, for in that world of selfing, in that world of beings, it's a bad motherfucker. It's a scary motherfucker. It's anybody who, especially socially, you would never want to deal with that. And it's fading, of course, because I'm getting farther and farther away from that experience. And that too is anatta, dukkha, anicca. Yeah, what about the 90? Yes, exactly. So don't overthink it. But in terms of brain entities or in terms of egos, you know, I've been tortured. I've experienced the reign of wrath. And what I'm saying to people is, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go down that way to surrender unto awareness in the here and now. That's not about you surrendering. It's not about anything. Yeah, you know, I think about that. You know, a lot of people don't understand that, but there are people, is kind of these schizophrenic people or paranoid schizophrenic people, and guys, gals, I mean, their lives are living hell. There's no peace. There's no time off. There's no rest time. The only rest time is chugging a bottle of vodka to kind of get out of the way of yourself, to numb yourself. In terms of waking, it's paranoia. It's stories about what's going on outside. It's stories about what's going on inside and how those two things interact. It's fear. It's delusion. It can turn into anger. It can turn into panic. Silence, speak, snow, that's your final warning, okay? Please don't comment on my body. All right? I haven't seen that name show up in my PayPal or with a donation to the community, so you're on thin ice. All right? There's no free lunches here, okay? We're not running a charity here. Nice legs. How are you going to like one of these legs fully up your ass? So you do that and you say that without attachment. Make it an opportunity to encourage somebody to sacrifice. Oh, Chanath. Well, that's what I did. And you know, I'm not particularly mad. Maybe I'm addicted. Maybe I'm addicted to live streaming. You know, maybe I should stop. But there's a community here in all kinds of different ways and levels, etc. And so there's a lot of opportunity to do good deeds and focus on teaching and learning and evolving that teaching and evolving that giving and receiving that doesn't need to be based in self. And it being exposed to myself and to the selves of others. To see more clearly that they aren't really there. Whoa, whoa, Ayman shamba gazo yema. Ayman shamba gazo yema. Megia bashola sheve anamazo yongambanda wele abaji Gomongang jamuri jayava goji azureyama goju bazuri agadalero It's time for me to reveal my true self to the community. It's time for me to reveal my true self to the community. It's time for me to reveal my true self to the community. It's time for me to reveal my true self to the community. It's time for me to reveal my true self to the community. It's time for me to reveal my true self to the community. Fear not, for I am washed by the blood. So for those who don't know about taking baths like this, first you take that bath and you really get heated up. And now you're not just wet, you're hot. There's a sweat, there's a heat in you. So you get out of there as fast as you can, slowly. And then ideally you want to walk out into the fresh air, or you want to walk out into a Siberian situation. And so this is not cold, but it is fresh. And you just want to go out there and walk and feel the embrace, feel the nudity, feel the rawness of the nudity of this moment as it is. You know, we think about monks wearing robes, but actually I'll tell you a little insider secret. The monks are naked underneath those robes. I didn't wear underwear for 7 years. A lot of people don't know that about me. They say, why do you act this way? I didn't wear underwear for 7 years. How do you expect me to act? That's right. That's right. And aggrandizing the wild dog is problematic, but sometimes very useful. And it's interesting to see someone like you, Chanath, you know, because you might try to justify my truthfulness or my honesty, but I might try to justify you not being crazy. Because if you were crazy, then what would that say about me? But anyways, to see the contrast between something like Hillside Hermitage and something like this, and just that a lot of people don't have a relationship with generosity, which means they do not have access to self-sacrifice. And they don't know how to step back from those practical things or give up those practical things that they're supposed to establish their practice on giving up. So that makes conversations unable to happen. It makes people unable to go deep in conversations. Or you always got to conversate with them wearing these mittens. 2 little mittens for 2 little kittens. No, you're a wild dog. You're a beast. You're a monster. And it's time to square up and take responsibility. It's time to square up and take responsibility for this wild dog of self that you've let run rampant. and do all kinds of things, harming yourself and harming others. You understand? How'd you sleep?
Well,
Did you have dreams?
I did. Yeah.
What did you dream about?
I don't remember anymore. It will come to me if I think about it for a bit. Why, did you have any exciting dreams?
This is a dream. This is the dream of wakefulness. The dream of wakefulness. This is the dream of wakefulness. This is the dream of wakefulness. Oh, we're looking for someone who would like to purchase a 500 New Zealand dollar gift card for JB Hi-Fi. So if you're in New Zealand and you could use a gift card for JB Hi-Fi, we have a gift card, a 500 New Zealand dollar gift card for New Zealand JB Hi-Fi that we're selling. So please get in contact and please reach out. Someone donated that to support for the camera, and we're looking for somebody who wants to buy it. We need to find some Maoris. I'll sell it to that woman who interrogated me at the airport. She's got to be from New Zealand or have friends in New Zealand. We are auctioning off a 500 New Zealand, what do they call New Zealand dollars?
New Zealand dollars. I'm pretty sure. NZD.
NZD, 500 New Zealand dollar gift card to JB Hi-Fi, which is like the Best Buy of New Zealand. I tried to post on Reddit about it, but it didn't work out. It didn't get. There's a lot of people want to scam for something like that, so you have to kind of have a trust. Because you give them the code and then they've already spent it before they send you.
But maybe you should only accept PayPal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to do it.
Yeah.
Good on you, Mitty Duck. Impersonal giving. Non-interpersonal giving. But Sayadaw, my teacher, Tabarwa, would probably say, you know, I'm not a monk anymore, so how much can I say this? But he would say that there's a fundamental difference or a good difference when we're giving, concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, rather than just giving concerned with our attachment to our parents or our relatives or our community or our country, etc. So the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha is beyond countries as well. And yeah, you can apply this to Islam or Christianity, but these are not education systems. These are not schools of philosophy. These are not scientific, secular, analytical meditation methods that are solely concerned with a human being's possibility for enlightenment. That's the cold, hard truth. That is the cold, hard truth. You know, people say, Rob, you used to be Bhante Warpan, you used to be a monk, you used to wear a robe, and and teach the meditation class, and now look at you. Now look at you standing on a stepladder in a towel, spreading your arms. But what does that even mean? And then you make up some story about it. But this is just what it is, as it is. And if you can't see that, you bet you're lucky to have the teachings and time with Dr. Rob standing on a stepladder. This is my exercise. Very specific form of exercise. Do you want to share with people what's going on with your practice and
Okay. Sure.
maybe introduce yourself, maybe some new people know who you are.
Oh, hello everyone. My name's Aditya. I'm Dr. Rob's friend, student. I picked him up from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. I picked him up from Sydney Airport, 3 weeks ago for this non-dual Buddhist absurdism meditation road trip retreat adventure. And yeah, all I can say honestly is that there's a lot of shittiness that I feel, a lot of shittiness. I woke up today, felt like shit. Right now I feel like shit as well. Yesterday I was also feeling like shit. Yeah, that's all I can really say, If anyone has any questions about the shit I'm feeling, feel free to ask. I can elaborate, but
Let's change one setting here. It's a good sign that you feel very shitty. Very good sign. That's the suffering. Buddha, first noble truth. There is suffering.
well, when we started this road trip, it was really shitty because we went to the Meta convention, and that was the first time in many months that I sat in a lecture theater, like a university hall or whatever, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And even though we're concerned with spiritual topics, it brought out a lot of feeling shitty. And yeah, I didn't actually attend the second day. I just couldn't bring myself to it because it also kind of felt like a 9 to 5, being stuck in the office, and then at the end of the day you're drained because there's artificial lights and all of that. So that's how the trip started, and then we sat on a train.
And it was cold in there too. What were they doing? It was cold.
Yeah,
Too much air conditioning.
I felt okay. I'm kind of used to the Sydney weather. I know Dr. Rob likes the Vietnam weather, but when I went to Vietnam, I felt extremely hot. And I was sweating and melting. And I never experienced that kind of heat here in Australia. Even when we were in the outback, it was more of a dry heat, so it wasn't too bad for me. I'm more used to that. So anyways, we caught the train to Melbourne. That was 12 hours of just sitting upright, so that felt like shit.
Yeah, it was horrible too.
Yeah. And then, and I in my head, I was like, what the fuck am I getting myself into? Like, where am I going? Like, what is the point of this? So then Melbourne, we got to Melbourne and we had to catch another train to go up north so we could link up with Lee. And then, yeah, while we were there, sleeping on the floor. Actually, it wasn't too bad, but it's just like, for me, it's like, you're not at home, so you don't have that comfort of your own space and, you know, your own bed. So that's when it started, all the discomfort, all the shitty feelings. Because ultimately, like, there is no objective, really, of this trip or this retreat, you know. And I think if you approach this with kind of like, oh, I'm expecting to go from point A to point B or have some kind of transformation, insight, enlightenment, whatever it is, like, you're pretty deluded. So I was aware of that, but of course there's subtle parts of me which have kind of like an expectation on what's supposed to come out of this. So, yeah, then we were out in the bush. You know, it took us like 3 days to get out into the middle of nowhere, genuinely the middle of nowhere with like no Wi-Fi. So I didn't even have a pillow, so I was sleeping on like a thin, like 1-inch mattress. I want to call it a mattress or some like cushiony surface. So that was really shit, sleeping in tents and getting bitten by mosquitoes and sitting in the car all day driving. And then like there was that one night where it was like a windstorm. Like the wind was so insane, honestly. It felt like a hurricane. So I was trying to sleep in my tent, but it's all like shaking, and then at one point it just like collapsed. So I was like stuck in the tent and I was like trying to figure out how to like unzip it to like get out, because like the wind's just all blowing. But you know, there are nice moments too. Like even though that windstorm happened, we all like sat in the kitchen awake at like 3 a.m. all night, just like talking about shit. And you know, being in Shelly's house is actually very comfortable. And I've noticed that like just the comfort of the bed is triggering all kinds of bad habits, like laziness, like, you know, the reluctance to like get up in the morning. Because when you're out in the bush, like you're sleeping on a cardboard or whatever, it's like, it feels good to actually get up off that, because it's not really comfy anyways. And also the birds like start screaming at like 8:30. So whether you like it or not, you have to be up by then. But having a bed and a dark room and comfortable like quilts and stuff, it's like, I don't even want to get up half the time. And then, you know, it kind of activates like lustful desires and tendencies, and then it activates like laziness, and then it activates like overindulgence in food, like having a cupboard full of like food and lollies, which I don't even like to eat normally, but because it's there, I'm just like snacking all day. You know, like I constantly just go open the fridge to look at like nothing and just eat some more stuff. So yeah, if anyone struggles with like lust and that kind of stuff, I know someone who's, you know, maybe facing that kind of thing, maybe sleep on the floor. Honestly, like that really helps to just, because I feel like lust almost arises out of this like comfort, you know, because you're so comfortable. There's like nothing kind of like, there's less shittiness. Then it's easy to just feel like, oh, I just want to chase dopamine. I just want to chase pleasure. I just want to keep eating. And I think eating, like overeating and lust kind of go hand in hand in some way. And then, yeah, I'm also feeling shitty because, like, there's a part of me that likes to take it easy and likes to sit and do nothing, so to speak. Because in a way, I find that very natural. I find it very natural to kind of have a slow-paced life and, you know, maybe be concerned with this Buddha Dhamma Sangha Trinity, whatever, Triple Gem, and also have a lot of time to rest, integrate, sit, be, which you usually can't get if you operate within the typical 9 to 5 frameworks. And yeah, I'm kind of dreading going back to Sydney because I almost feel like my destabilization of self or whatever the fuck is going on also destabilizes my relationship significantly. So who knows if I'm even gonna have my long-term relationship anymore when I go back. So that's another shittiness that I'm kind of dreading to experience. And being here feels shitty as well. And then this thought of like, what am I gonna do with myself? Like, how am I gonna make money? You know, not that it's kind of an immediate necessity for me right now because I'm in a very lucky, fortunate position, which I'm grateful for, where my parents love for me to live with them. And, you know, I have kind of like some savings to cruise on or whatever. But at the same time, I have this like willingness to serve or self-sacrifice, not to some extreme extent where I just go live in a monastery or whatever, but just like with the community or helping in whatever ways that I can. So I'm just thinking about that, and I haven't been able to figure out that dilemma for many, many months. Yeah, and all this shit is really hard because it's almost like, imagine you take your pet domestic dog and then you put that dog back out in the bush and say like, you know, go from here. That dog will probably die because it's just, it doesn't have those instincts and kind of experience of hunting or surviving or whatever it is. And that's kind of how I feel, you know, we've been cushioned with so much like comfort, which is not a bad thing, but it's really kind of taken away that instinct, ability, tendency for us to be with the shittiness at varying degrees or whatever it is. And you know, just also being around Dr. Rob and his shenanigans, or whatever you would label it as, teachings, is also, yeah, it is a bit destabilizing for some parts of me and makes me feel even more shitty, and sometimes is conducive for me to kind of drop back into like anxiety, depression, kind of like uncertainty, instability. But like, I just want to say, anyone who's listening newly or whatever, like there's never any like feeling of like lack of safety around him or anything or whatever. Like, you know, it's like it's what it is, what it is. It doesn't really matter. And I think in a way, if I have to kind of summarize what it is or how I approach it, it's just kind of refining my ability to detach quickly. You know, it's like, it's just, yeah, it's very easy for us to just like have an absolute perspective on what is going on or have an absolute position, but you know, there's a lot of probably it's probably better for us to kind of decondition from that tendency. Yeah, Jenna. Do I feel vulnerable when talking to the camera? When I'm just talking about my experience or stuff like that, not really. There's actually a part of me that kind of, maybe, you know, to a degree, a little bit of vulnerability might be present, but I think because I've also in my last like job and stuff, and also just like my hobbies, I would practice talking in front of a camera, so I kind of got used to it, and in a way it's kind of like fun and enjoyable to have an audience. So but if I had to kind of push myself beyond my limits and do something to the degree that Dr. Rob does, yeah, that would cause me to feel very, very vulnerable, because then I'll start thinking, oh my God, like, you know, is someone I know watching? What are these people going to think about me? It's stuff like that. But I think it's a very purifying endeavor to actually talk about our experiences on camera. Not even because someone's necessarily watching, but almost because we project another separate self that's judging us or criticizing us, which is ultimately just a reflection of our own inner critic. So that practice can help. And I had asked Dr. Rob, I think like a couple of days ago, that when I'm confronted with this like vulnerability or anxiety or lack of confidence, typically the perspective or mindset that I use to deal with those kind of feelings is to brute force my way through it, or chuck myself in the deep end, or push with, or use my courage, or whatever it is. And to a degree, that definitely does work, but Dr. Rob kind of advised against that, because there's probably better ways to go about it, such as
What is it?
like dealing with feelings of vulnerability and anxiety. I said that often I'll try and just brute force my way through it, or just like push myself to like, or force myself to like be a certain way so that I can deal with that feeling and get like, almost like jumping into the cold water so you can warm up quickly. But you kind of advised against that.
Did I?
Yeah. That's at least how I interpreted it. And
Well, it's too much self and brute forcing. Even though you're getting through that, while you're getting through that, you're reinforcing yourself. Whereas if you kind of lay back and endure the shittiness of yourself, you're gonna see, oh, like I'm just thinking about my bus rides and my tours with my teacher in Myanmar, and how frustrated I would get with people and with situations and what's going on and why is it like this and that. But actually, I couldn't control it regardless. But the problem was coming from myself. That second arrow, my complaining or my adding on this extra layer of problematicness of where did this come from and what this is about. Why do I feel this way? Who's to blame rather than just feeling it? And in just feeling it, it wouldn't be so horrible.
Yeah.
You know, it'd just be unpleasant, but it's okay for it to be unpleasant.
Yeah. And I think another kind of important, understated factor that can kind of help this individualized self maybe come out of its shell or whatever, so to speak, is the importance of community. You know, because if we're surrounded by like people who have like subtle or very deep insecurities or kind of malicious tendencies, when this vulnerability comes out or whatever, instead of just relaxing into it or creating a space for you to relax into it, they might just like bully you or say snarky comments, which I think all of us have faced. Hence why, you know, some of these vulnerable conditionings might be very strong and rigid. And for me, I think there's still a lot of vulnerability present. But just looking back in my experience and in my lifetime, I've come a long way, and that's because I've taken the time to work with a lot of different mentors, and I consider Dr. Rob a mentor as well. And really having that mirror or being present that doesn't give you even a single ounce of judgment or inner critic noise is very, very helpful. So it's very good to have that kind of community around you. Thanks, Explicit One. Yeah, another thing I notice with like the camera sometimes is as soon as it's pointed in my direction, you know, instantly kind of like there's like these protective parts that might arise to the occasion and feel the need to have like almost performative expression. But, you know, observing Dr. Rob and other teachers and masters, like, we're not here in the business of, like, entertainment specifically, you know? We're not here to try and maintain someone's attention and get them to keep watching or get them to keep viewing. I mean, that's not the forefront or the North Star, I suppose. And it's really good because like that just sitting and being really filters out the negative spirits or, you know, whatever spirits that really aren't resonant with, you know, the deeper teachings and practice.
idea. I think I can use the JB Hi-Fi gift card to buy $100 Xbox gift cards, and then those would probably be more sellable to people. But I don't know if those are also locked to a particular area. You know, if they're international or not.
It probably will be. But you know, there's a lot of gamers in New Zealand.
Easier to
Yeah.
get somebody who wants to buy it. Well, there you go. Your wish came true. I'm becoming an entrepreneur. I'm becoming a businessman. For selling JB Hi-Fi gift cards.
I'm thinking about how to answer your question, Kenneth. Right now, you feel the shittiness directly. Just reflecting on my experience, like, all my life, all I've really felt is shittiness to varying degrees. And of course, there's moments of like passion and excitement and joy, maybe. And usually it's associated with things which reinforce myself, such as, you know, I look a certain way now because I've been going to the gym, or, you know, I've proved myself in jiu-jitsu, so I feel a little bit of a ego boost maybe, or something. Or I'm listening to some music, so that's kind of like just disassociating me from the direct experience. Or, you know, me and Dr. Rob are having an intimate conversation, or moments, connections, or jokes. So that's also fun. Like, there is, you know, it's not all shit. Like, of course, there are moments of enjoyment in that. But, yeah, in a way, there's always this overlay of, like, shittiness. And, you know, if anything, I'm just experimenting with different things. And in the past, and I'm sure most people probably end up doing this, we try our best to like escape the shittiness and get away from it. But I really liked when Dr. Rob said that this shittiness, this suffering, is a resource to be used. So now, instead of running away from it, maybe it feels like we're swimming through it, you know? And I'm swimming through the shit, and yeah, you kind of get used to swimming through the shit, I guess. Doesn't mean I want to be there, but you're swimming through it. And that's about it. Like, yeah. But, you know, I kind of always have this feeling, maybe it's really delusional as well, but I always have this feeling that at any moment, like, things and circumstances can completely change. And maybe it comes back to this notion of impermanence. So it's kind of our cause and effect, conditionings, karma, whatever you want to call it, to just be with the shittiness. You know, inherently, there's nothing bad or wrong about the shittiness. It's more so kind of our dualistic mind or nature or whatever, or karma, to resist the shittiness so much. So, you know, if you want to spin it in a good way, you can say, like, you know, we're all very blessed to be here, to be so intimate with the shittiness. Shelly says, get out of my house, Aditya, and go sleep in the park.
Get out, man. I'm sorry. I can't. This is her house, man. This is her house, man. Get out!
No, I'm just really grateful that Shelly's hosting us. Very, very grateful. And yeah, it's not even been that long, maybe just a couple weeks of discomfort, but just coming back to that comfort. It's almost like, you know, in the past when I would smoke weed or whatever. Like maybe I would take a break for a bit and then I'd smoke a joint and I'd be like, wow, this is so shit. Like this experience, this high, it's so shitty. Like there is nothing about it really that I'm enjoying. But for some reason, I would kind of fall back into chronically doing it again for a little bit or whatever. And I don't know why it's like that, but it's kind of similar to this comfort as well. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, another thing I noticed was like even when Dr. Rob and I went to that gaming lounge and we're just playing games and stuff. It was really fun, but you know, I still have like a lingering like suffering or guilt in the background, almost preventing me from like indulging in that play or joy fully. And I don't know why that is. I think it probably stemmed from, you know, when I was in like school and I like to play games, but there was always this notion of like I need to be doing more. I need to be like studying or doing homework or some shit. So it's like I just kind of developed this like constant feeling of like shittiness associated with like playing games or like having fun or whatever. And you know, ultimately, like that's all I really want is just to be able to play, be able to be at ease, you know, have a community which is at ease, have a community where we can, you know, truly care for each other and support each other and all that kind of stuff. And it reminds me of like the Aboriginal elder we met in Mari. His name was Uncle Reggie. And he wrote a book. And I don't know what like the title was, but it had something to do with this idea of individualism and how that is kind of a big issue to a degree. And I agree, you know. It's almost like that idea of individualism, I can kind of connect that with cancer and how a cancer cell almost becomes like an individuated organism within the body, right? And kind of corrupts the entire system. When in actuality, for long, healthy life, you know, all the cells must be kind of working in a modality of self-sacrifice and serving the other or serving the greater good or serving the whole or serving the body or whatever it is. So in a way, this inclination or tendency for us to individualize is kind of like cancer. And you know, another thing that I value and I have been thinking about is like how humans are ultimately supposed to be like a very social organism or a social species or whatever. And yeah, I often feel like extremely lonely because we're all kind of, especially, you know, maybe my friends or personal relationships, they kind of are all in this phase of individualizing and feeling a lot of fear around how are we going to get a house. And I mean, I have this fear. How am I going to get a house? How am I going to get all this? Like, how am I even going to be happy and content with life in the future with the seemingly current circumstances? So there's this big kind of need and desire of mine to have really good, healthy community and relationships. Because in a way, like that to me feels like the solution to any kind of problem that we can name in our society. You know, it's like if we can band together and really connect in a practical, mature, intimate capacity, generous capacity, you know, we have the ability to serve that need of ours, to serve others, that need for us to be generous, because I think I've started to realize that there is a need in us to be generous, and also the need in us to be at ease, because there's a constant give and take, non-transactional relationship taking place. So and I haven't traveled to India since I was a little kid, and even when I did travel as a little kid, I was kind of like sheltered and didn't really know what's going on because I'm just being dragged around from place to place. But I'd definitely like to visit India again now as an adult. But I think it's very interesting. There's a lot for us to learn from that kind of culture, not just India, but Asian cultures. Because, for example, India's population is more than China's 1.5 billion or whatever, which is really big. And they're in a small area of land. But somehow, like, you know, the cogs keep churning, you know, things keep happening, people keep being born, people keep surviving. So, not to say that necessarily everyone's thriving or whatever, like they might just be getting by, but it's very impressive and very interesting for me to see that that dynamic is kind of unfolding in that country, you know. Another kind of feeling I've had is, and I've kind of had this for the last like couple years probably, that there's like not a single piece of content on YouTube or like TV shows or whatever that I'm like compelled to consume. Like, I probably started watching YouTube like religiously when I was like 13. You know, out of like a very like pure curiosity and also kind of like a coping mechanism with stress. And I would like watch like educational stuff, like not just like brain rot or whatever. And you know, a lot of the things that I know or my personality has been shaped by the content I consume. But now I've reached a point where every day, or you know, I wake up and like check my YouTube feed, but there's like literally nothing left, nothing interesting for me to even watch. Maybe every now and then, like every few days, there's something actually of interest and value to me. But like, yeah, there's like literally no desire for me to watch anything else. It's very hard for me to even force myself to do it, because I used to like listen to and watch YouTube videos every night while falling asleep. Like, I'll just play it out loud or whatever and fall asleep to it. And that was very helpful. So in a way, this big, what's the word? Crutch of mine to deal with stress is like almost completely gone. And that kind of puts me back into this position of like really sitting with the shittiness, really being with the shittiness. And I try, like, I don't know, it's very hard for me to get into any TV shows or things like that, or anime. I tried to start watching My Hero Academia because I know Dr. Rob like enjoyed it or whatever, and he was saying like, you know, like we gotta like persevere through it, and like all the juicy stuff's happening in like season 7, 8 or whatever. But even that, like, I'm just so unbothered to like commit to watching, and I probably watched like a few episodes but didn't really have the willingness to continue. And yeah, I'm sure that's probably a similar kind of situation or case to a lot of you guys. And that's why, like, this stream, for some reason, is and was the only thing that seemed worthwhile. Even if nothing's going on, it still feels good to be. I don't know why. I actually don't even understand why. Maybe it's a sense of community, maybe it's kind of an intuition that resonates with a deeper pointing. Maybe it's yeah, I don't know. And yesterday, Dr. Rob and I were talking a lot, kind of going back and forth about many things. And there's this kind of idea around like the absolute being in the relative and the relative being in the absolute. And I don't know, I think maybe I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I feel like it's very easy to get disassociated from life, you know, when we go into like non-self and all that kind of stuff. But I think there is still a lot of responsibility and I don't know. For some reason, I feel like there's kind of an importance for me to also explore this character or individualization as well, a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if that's even supportive or if that's kind of like another kind of foolishness of mine. But if I'm able to kind of be more present with my body and with this right here, I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know if modern non-duality is necessarily that, but maybe people kind of misinterpret it and it becomes just another reinforcement for their self or whatever. And I think a very common theme for people being brought into this kind of space is they want to deal with their traumas, and there's a word for that called spiritual bypassing. But something about that kind of relationship with spirituality or Buddhism or whatever is a bit transactional. So yeah, I don't know. I can almost put my foot behind my head. I can show you guys some stretches which helped me, which I learned at when I went to like Sadhguru's inner engineering program or whatever, that helped me like sit cross-legged. And because prior to that I really couldn't, but like this one, this one's good. I think this one's called butterfly. And then you can like lean forward, and the closer you get your heels to your like bum, the better. And then this one I really liked as well. So one hand around your knee, one hand in front of your foot, interlock your fingers, and bring it as close as you can to your chest. It's called rock the baby or something like that. And you should feel it like in your hips. You can do this for like a couple minutes, but even if you do it for a couple minutes, like you'll probably be able to sit comfortably in like a meditation posture. I mean, my spine's curved right now. Can't really keep it upright, but maybe that's better. And then I like to sit like this. Like heel This is what they taught us in the Sadhguru course. Heel touching your perineum. So that's supposed to be in between your anus and genitals. And then like that. I can't really do half lotus or full lotus or whatever. But this one's a good one, I think. Because otherwise, when you're sitting like that or whatever, it just feels kind of like awkward. Maybe your spine's not like straight. But when it's like flat, also it's really painful on the concrete. When it's flat, it kind of feels better. Yeah, and there's other ones like this. Like this. And these are some stretches we do in like jiu-jitsu. I think this is called like 90 degrees or something, I don't know. But like that. Because there's a lot of like small on the hip, which are like really tight. And then I like to do this one. This one's called helicopter. And we can do the other way. And then there's this one, which I'm not too good at, but it feels very good. You just like squat down and you like push against your hips. It's kind of hard to balance and it burns a lot. But all like the hip muscles like here. And we can do this one to stretch like the abs and stuff. Yeah, I don't care, Shashank. This is not even my stream. No Advaitic oneness. It's actually me who's the crazy one. And Dr. Rob's the same one. I'm the real crazy one. You just haven't seen it yet. Maybe that's something you have to reflect on in yourself. Advaitic oneness. You find the behavior odd. So what? And I'm done. You want to hit up anywhere today?
Oh yeah, maybe we'll go for a drive. Maybe get a mouse.
You're gonna need a mouse pad as well.
Yeah. Okay, goodbye everyone. See you for another Monk Live Meditation live stream very, very soon. Stay tuned, everybody. Keep those W's in the chat. Keep those donations coming. And we will see you very, very soon for more live teachings, support, and all kinds of work and development on the path to enlightenment. See you again soon. Take care, everybody.